I want to speak about role models for a moment because I think sadly that there's not a lot of role models left in society, both for men and women. I think the fact that we've kind of outsourced role models to being celebrities has kind of removed what role models used to be. We've now also isolated people, removed the sense of community. When role models used to be neighbors, colleagues, family members, people in your clubs, not one's clubs, but hobbies. We don't really have role models anymore. Now it just feels like whoever has a good podcast is a role model. So maybe can you speak to some examples of positive influences you currently have in your life, how they helped shape who you are, and what way to help shape you?
So obviously, like as I mentioned in the PDF when I applied for this, Cristiano Ronaldo, but like that we can leave that to the side.
Well, let's try and focus on people in your immediate circle.
So people in my immediate circle, I would immediately start with probably my pastor, Wayne LaRue. He also runs the Run Club. He's just a very, very positive guy. Very inspiring person, what he's doing in the world and the angle in which he attacks, just living life. He's gone through all the sorts, that a young guy I think would go through. His life is not perfect, so to say, but like I think it's a perfect example for what a young man can be and inspired to be or aspire to be.
So, one of the two.
One of the two.
Maybe before you go on, what's like one quality you want to learn from him or hope rubs off on you from him?
Just the ability to connect with people. I haven't met one person who says, I'm not able to have a conversation with this person. He's a bad guy. Like it's just to connect with people and just be able to understand people just on a human level. And then from there, just being maybe it's like a source of relationship, a source of trust, a source of just community that he brings. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, for those of you that don't know the Run Club, and Nsuku's referring to the Running Late Club he runs with his wife Grace. Girlfriend? Wife Grace. Both very kind people.
Yes.
I had a conversation with Wayne before I knew he was the owner of Running Late, and he just treated me like one of the boys. So always appreciate him.
Yeah.
So do you think this aspect of a lack of more personal role models, do you think it's a mistake we've made as people, or do you think there's just a natural evolution of society where since things have become more digital, it makes sense for us to outsource our role models to digital space? Or do you think we have to kind of track back to what it was?
I definitely think we should track back. I think it has been a bit of an illusion with the rise of social media and the digital space. People only portray like the good qualities or their successes and their accomplishments are not their entire life. So our idea of what the perfect person or the role model has been really construed because we view certain people on the internet and say, oh, 1, 2, 3, their whole life is going well, they're doing this and this and that. And you look at the people in real life and it's like nobody's really perfect. But like because you see these people day-to-day basis, they may not have all the qualities in which you would want to see in someone, but just because they're not embodying those certain characteristics or only showing those good characteristics, we tend to be like, no, I don't want to be like them, or I don't want to take that aspect from them. I think like, it's really been shifted and the target's really been moved over the years.
We've created this idea of a perfect person, which is the problem. And now you have to be perfect to be a role model instead of just being,
when you admire, to take certain qualities from them. I think you could have different aspects and different, qualities that you see in people that you can really bring together and like, oh, I aspire to be him in this sense, or I aspire to be like them in that sense,
How do you think we roll back?
I definitely think it's just being very honest, firstly, on public platforms about life. I'm not saying like post everything about you 24/7. I'm not a big fan of that. You need to be private in some sense. Live a life. Where you're not putting all your drama out for everyone to see. But also just being honest, like not just only flashing, all the good stuff,
Sharing the struggles.
Sharing a bit of the struggles as well, just being honest with people on those platforms. So they know like my life, it shouldn't be perfect in the sense, I think that would be a very good place to start. And just also just having conversation. I don't think like people have conversations anymore, like between adults and kids.
Mm.
It's all just I just grew up in your house. I'm on my phone. You're on your
Yeah.
phone. You watch TV. You do this.
You have a surrogate father in some
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
I think like just chatting to people and kids chatting to adults, or I won't say not just chatting, listening to each other. Like I think we just need to listen to each other a bit more.
Get off your phone, have a conversation with someone.
Have a conversation. Even just sitting in silence sometimes, like just the presence that you have with someone can really just change. You like just start getting more comfortable with them. You want to be in this space. It takes you away from seeking that comfort or that seeking that validation from outside sources when you can just be able to be your full self with someone. So that can just be like sitting in silence. That can just be watching the same shows, learning, asking questions. That can come with just, sometimes just spending
get off your phone.
time.
Yeah. Speaking to like adults and younger people or adolescent people, just spending time together and learning from one another. Have you ever considered being a role model to someone a little bit younger to you? Because I had this idea in my head where I was like, I'm 25 years old. It feels like I'm still a child.
Yeah.
And what do I know? And recently at work, I've been given an intern who works under me. And we don't just talk about work advice, we just talk about life advice. And one thing I found is you actually know a lot more about life than you think. You've learned a lot more. And, this kid didn't even know about the 30% rule, like 30%, you should save 30% of your salary away in like a tax-free fund. And I thought that was basic knowledge to most people, but kind of find out most people actually don't know some of the things I know. So I've been considering personally like trying to be more of a mentor in people's lives and how to approach that. I wonder if it's something that you've considered.
I haven't considered in the sense of like I want to just be a role model, like that word in the conventional sense, but I feel like I've come into that role just about being a leader and a servant in my community, my church, being there for people. I find like you kind of just gravitate to having or being someone's role model, even if it's not said aloud. But when you have, for example, like a Bible study, you chat to people, you impart knowledge, they give you knowledge as well. You find maybe a year later they come like, listen, do you like you really helped me this year? Like it was amazing, like learning from you. And you realize, like I kind of just mentored this guy through the year, and it didn't come as more of like I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna write names down. I want to make sure I'm gonna teach him this, and that. It just came with just being in a community where you find yourself just rising into that position, or just like gravitating into certain roles with people. And I think that it should be. I don't think you should deep it too much and just put yourself and make yourself available to, having that position, and let the rest just come.
Yeah, I think that's the interesting thing about like Bible study groups is that they tend to be of a lot larger of an age range than you expect, right? Like ours in particular, I think the youngest person is just fresh out of varsity, 22, 21, somewhere around there. And like the oldest is close to 30, or I think the oldest is actually 30. And that doesn't seem like a large age gap, but like that's 8 years worth of experience you're imparting onto someone. And some of them go like wider ranges than that. Some people are 19 in a group of like a 42-year-old.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm not saying that all these people are perfect and they have the best advice, but it's good to have exposure to people in different phases of life.
Yeah.
And something really interesting that I found is I recently connected more with someone in my Connect group. And he's the elder statesman of the group. I think he's about 29 or 30. I can never remember. Sorry, Jason. I can't. Get to my but he sat down and he kind of just talked me through stuff because I was going through a tough time.
Yeah.
And on, I think it was Christmas, I sent him a message, say thank you for like what you've done recently for me and not. And he actually replied like, helping you has helped me realign myself. And I think that's one of the underspoken parts about serving people is you also serve yourself and you feel better about it. So being kind has its benefits, Yeah,
that's 100%. That's exactly what the motto about the church in Wayne says. Like, just the only way you want to grow, or one of the ways you would grow in your spiritual journey and just in life, is by being in community and a service to other people. Because number one, it does force you to look at yourself. You can't tell someone to do certain things and then they look at you and you're doing the complete opposite. So it does force you to really evaluate how you move and what you do.
That's the whole point of this podcast.
Yeah.
I'm doing all this self-help stuff, so I'm forced to listen to it,
Exactly. I think it really does. It pushes you into a position where you got to be like, oh, damn, I got to lock in. Like, I know all this knowledge. Like, it's time to apply it.
Yeah. Take your own medicine.
Take your own medicine. And I think that's really what it is to be a leader. Like, in this sense, I feel like you are a leader, you lead the conversation, but in the sense you're being available, you're providing a service in which I can come in as and just speak about like what's on my heart, what's on my mind.
Yeah.
I don't think it's initially about being in maybe a position of authority, but being open to those spaces, being open to doing stuff like this, being open to speaking to people, being service of them, helping
Yeah.
them, and they can turn around and be like, listen, boss man, you did fantastic for me,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something that I struggle with a lot because I've wanted to do this whole thing for a long time. I think the first time I wanted to start YouTubing, I was like 12 years old. And back then, I wanted to do video game content, and obviously I've grown up.
There's still time.
I don't play games like that anymore.
The eyes of speed.
Yeah, but I'm not going to go play FIFA and call people the R word on stream. That's not my...
One of your games is just for your reaction.
I don't play games anymore, bro. But the thing that always came back to my mind was, what have I done? Who am I to tell my story?
Yeah.
And now I look back at that and I think that's stupid. I am someone. I will always be someone. And my story, 99% of the world could look at my story and think that doesn't matter. But if that 1% is like, this guy's helped me out, that's 80 million people, So don't underplay who you are. If you are in the bottom 0.01% of interesting people, there's still 800,000 people that will listen to you and learn something. So I've tried to remove my mind from prejudging myself, and caring.
Yeah.
And hopefully that leads to actually helping out people. I told my producer, Aiden, before, he asked me, like, what was the goal with what I'm doing now? And I told him, man, if one kid comes up to me in the mall one day and says, hey, man, you helped me turn my life around.
Yeah.
I've done it.
That's amazing.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That good stuff.
Hey, guys. Hope you enjoyed that clip from the interview of Agu. If you want to come onto the podcast, remember, all are welcome. Just fill in the form in the description, and we'll see if we can have you on. If you want to watch the full podcast, click on the link here. If you want to watch anything else from the channel, click on the link here. Thanks for watching, guys.